Hi, I'm Lisa Rubel from Quilty Zest, and if you've ever wanted to know how to sew curved blocks, today I'm going to show you how. This is the Drunkard's Path block, and it's made up of two pieces, a quarter circle and then a background piece. They're both cut out from templates, and then I'll show you my best tips and tricks for putting this block together, from the cutting to the pinning to the stitching and the trimming to help you come out with a beautiful block every single time. Make sure you head over to the blog post that goes along with this project to find both more pictures about this process as well as to download the PDF that with the template pieces. And then also I put in some ideas of different layouts you can do instead of having all the blocks go in the same way. I made a little 16 block version as a mini quilt, a wall hanging or a table topper. This would also be really fun for a table runner, like a longer and narrower one, or even a full-size quilt if you really like making these Drunkard's Path blocks. Let's take a look at the fabrics I'm going to use for today's project. I have this gorgeous collection of warm colored solids ranging from purplish magentas to pinks to reds, lighter salmons, some pastels, and then into the oranges and the yellows. I love how hot and spicy these fabrics are, and they will be perfect for my curved blocks. You can find this bundle on the Sit and Sew website. It's a 12-piece fat quarter bundle of warm solids. So grab your own so you can make this project too. Let's talk about cutting out our shapes. I'm going to work one fat quarter at a time. And what I'm going to do is I've got it folded in half, so I'm cutting double at each time I cut. And I'm going to get a nice straight edge to start with. And then I'm going to lay my first template piece, the background, out. Now I've got a number of different marking tools that I use, a dispirited ink pen. This is a sort of a chalk crayon type thing, and it depends on the color of my fabric. So this purple pen is not going to work on this magenta fabric, so I'm going to use this white pencil. I'm just going to trace around it. And sometimes when you're doing straight edges, it's really convenient to just put a ruler out and then just go along the edge of the ruler. And like I said, because this is double, when I go to cut this out, I'm going to end up with two of those shapes. Just saving time rather than cutting each individually. And I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm going to trace my second shape, the quarter circle. So again, with the straight line, I'm going to use my ruler to make the tracing easier, and then trace along this curved edge. Okay, now I'm going to take my scissors, and again, my fabric is still folded in half. And because I had this straight edge here, I just lined my templates up there, so that's one less edge I need to cut with my scissors. And I'm just going to cut on the lines that I drew. And you can even cut these straight lines with a ruler and a rotary cutter if you prefer as well. So there's my background piece. And then here's my quarter circle. There we go. So like I said, I've got two of those and two of my background. Then I'll add in the other ones that I've cut. There's some red, dark red and light red, oranges, yellows, pinks, salmons, and all the background colors. So I've chosen 8 colors to work with, and I've cut 2 backgrounds and 2 quarter circles from each of those 8 colors, and then I will mix and match them as I make my blocks. Your cutting may vary depending on what size project you're doing, how many blocks you are using in your project. Let's talk about how to put one of these blocks together. So I've got my quarter circle and I've got my background piece, and the first thing I'm going to do is fold each of those pieces in half, finger press, and then press to find the center point. And we're going to use those as we join it. So you can see I've got that center point marked on each piece. And I'm going to bring my pins over, and I'm going to fold the background piece on top of the quarter circle. Now mine are solids, so there's no right or wrong side, but you want to be folding these right sides together. And actually what I like to do is do it so that the creases nest inside each other, because then I can get it even more close. So I'm going to line up those 2 pressed center points and put a pin right there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up the edges. So these will be the straight edge. And then I'm going to put a pin along the curved edge right there. And what you can even do to help this stay straight is to put another pin along that straight edge, and that will help hold it in place. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other end. I'm going to line up those straight edges and then put a pin along the curved edges, and then pin on that side. So this is what I've got right now. Then when I'm going, because these curves are cut on the on the bias, so because these curves are cut on the bias, they're pretty stretchy. So what you can actually do is, if you gently pull a little bit, you can make it, that curved edge, into a straight line and put in additional pins. And honestly, the more pins you put in for sewing these curves, the easier it is. So I'm actually going to put 2 pins on, so this is actually on 1/8 of the circle because it's a quarter circle. So between my center and my end pin, I'm going to put in 2 more pins on each side. And by pulling that curve just real gently, you can make those raw edges align, even though they're sort of the opposite curves of each other. And this helps to eliminate puckers as you sew. Okay, so you can see what I've got now is you can kind of see the curved edge, but I've got the curve of the background all pinned into where my quarter circle is right here. And that's going to make it easy for me to sew along that edge. Now it's time to sew. And the key here is slow and steady. You may have to reposition a couple times, and that's okay. So I'm starting at one end, and I'm going to sew with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Once I get the needle in, I'm going to take out my first pin. And the idea is you want to make sure that your raw edges here, these curved raw edges, align the entire time you sew. So you can see, I can kind of see the lighter pink showing through from the bottom. And then at the same time, you want to make sure you don't have any puckers where you're sewing. And that's where you might have to stop and manipulate a little bit. So I'm just going to go along my edge here with a 1/4 inch seam, take my pins out, pull a little bit on the fabric as I need to. The pins are pretty much making sure that my 2 pieces of fabric are aligned at this edge. You can see that I got a little bit more of the light pink showing through, so I'll pull a bit and just keep sewing. So it actually looks like I'm sewing a straight line, and I sort of am. I'm sewing a slightly curved straight line, and then you'll see at the end, you'll end up with a curve. Now this last little bit is where I occasionally run into the opportunity to pucker. So Just know that that can be the trickiest part. Sometimes you need to, with the needle in, put your foot up and kind of massage the fabric a little bit to get it to lay flat without a pucker. Okay, take that last pin out. There we go. I'm going to take it over to the ironing board and we'll check it out. So here's the piece that I just stitched, and I'm going to press it. I'm going to press my seam allowances towards that outer corner. And then I'm going to flip it over, and you can see how nicely it's pressed out, and just hit it again. And sometimes if you have what looks like an almost pucker, it'll come right out when you press it. And there is my finished quarter circle square. What we're going to do is just square it up a little bit. We want it to be 4.5 inches square, and sometimes that just means taking the tiniest little bit off of 2 of the sides, 3, 4 of the sides. It all depends. And there it is. See, not hard at all. Just takes a little care. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you some of the other ones that I have stitched before I put my piece together. And the reason I'm showing you these is to show you that perfection is not a requirement here. The rest of these are not trimmed yet, but you can see right here I've got a little almost pucker, which will just press right out. And on this particular one, you can see my edges don't quite align here or there. Same with this one. That orange overhangs a little bit, but no big deal. When I go to press these, all of those little imperfections will go away and the finished piece will look fantastic. So if you finish your curved block and think this doesn't look perfect, don't worry about it, because as you can see, none of mine are perfect either. But cumulatively, they will look fantastic once they're trimmed and sewn together. Perfection is not necessary for these curved blocks. They're just really cool. With all 16 of my blocks done, now I'm going to lay them out into a 4x4 grid and then sew them together. What I'm going to try to do is come up with a layout where I've got a nice color balance and I don't have fabrics touching each other. I'm liking this layout, so now I'm going to start sewing these together in rows. And what I'll do, 2 things. First of all, I'm going to take a picture of this so I can refer back to it as I sew, make sure things stay in the correct order. And then for these, I'm going to fold the second column over on top of the first, and the 4th column over on top of the 3rd. And then what I can do is chain piece, and I'll pin them each, but so this one here, 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 there, 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 and then I've got them in pairs. I'll join the pairs, and then I'll be ready to sew the rows together. I've got my blocks joined in rows, and what I did was I alternated which direction I pressed the seams. So the top row, I pressed them to the left, 2nd row to the right, 3rd to the left, and 4th to the right. So now when I go to join the rows, I'm going to flip row 1 over on top of 2, and I'm going to pin at the seams. And you can see my seam allowances go in opposite directions, which allows them to nest and makes it even easier to have a nice clean join right there. I'm going to do that all the way across and use the same technique to join all 4 rows together and complete my small quilt top. I've got my top together, so now I'm going to layer it with batting and backing, baste those layers together, and then machine quilt it. When I quilt it, I'm going to use this goldenrod Madeira Katona thread, which will provide a nice warm accent to all of the different spicy colors I've got going on here with these red, orange, yellow, and pink solids. Ready to see the finished quilt? Here it is. Super cute, right? I hope that now you've seen that doing curved pieced blocks is not as hard as it looks, and there's a lot of grace for making perfectly imperfect blocks that come together to make a beautiful quilt. So now that you've watched this tutorial, head over to Sit and Sew Fabrics, grab a fat quarter bundle. Again, this is the Warm Solids fat quarter bundle, 12 different fat quarters, and get started making your own.